Hello, and welcome to the 19th episode of our Tsu-calm-i podcast with Eszter and Donna. I am Eszter and she's Donna, and we are going to talk about how to just be yourself today. Sometimes we get the advice from others, just be yourself, or just relax and be yourself. But we thought it's not that easy. And we thought to bring it to the attention. So we're going to talk about it a little bit. What
Yeah,
are your first thoughts?
for me, really, I had an exam recently, which I actually failed. Yeah, so that was quite interesting to work through that.
Mm,
And I remember a couple of people said, just be, because it was like an oral exam. It was a speaking one. It's not a writing one. And someone said, just be yourself. And I think it's just, well, how do I do that? It's like it was just how can I be myself
especially in an exam
when how can I
situation.
be myself when I feel uncomfortable? What if I get the questions wrong? What if I fail, which I did? Um, and yeah, so it's really hard to just be yourself. And I think we get told it a lot
Yeah,
over,
yeah, yeah.
over the years.
What I hear from your saying about this exam is um, basically being ourselves is vulnerable. When we are ourselves, our true self, that is a vulnerable state of being, let's say it like that. And on an exam or on a situation where we feel we have to perform in a certain way, then
Mm.
it can be really risky to take that risk to just be ourselves, because as you said, it's like what I have with exams is like there is only that one moment, that one chance where I can, prove myself or give my best. And it's much easier to, like, put on a mask in a way, or like an identity that we can
Yeah,
call it,
yeah.
where we are super confident and nothing can touch us or something like that. And especially in a talking exam, speaking exam, you are more exposed even
Yeah,
than in a written exam.
it was really interesting because
Mhm.
I literally have you ever heard of like stage fright? And
Yeah,
it's quite a thing when you literally go blank.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's exactly really what happened to me. And it was like afterwards, I spoke to my tutor, and it was like, well, Donna, you know this. And it's like, I know, but I literally went blank. And
I know stage fright very well because I'm teaching in a university, and I remember my first years when I did it in like a big audition room. And I remember by the end of the class, I was feeling like a frozen block or something like
yeah,
that, like literally I was doing it like I was doing the class by the end. So I was operating at a normal level, but inside, or a part of me felt like real, like ice, because I was so frightened of that
mm,
situation. And I remember myself showing videos to the students in the middle of the class, like at some point. And I remember, oh, now I can rest a little bit, and that the video takes over from me a little bit. And I couldn't, I rooted for the video to go on, and until I don't have to, like, show
yeah.
myself and
Do you
speak.
think, why do you think we get so scared of being ourselves? Do you think it was being scared of being yourself? Do you think?
Like, I think it is more complex, maybe, of the task itself. Like, in maybe I wasn't confident that in any any way of me or any kind of me or any identity of me is ready and able to do that task, not even thinking about being myself, like relaxed and all. But also knowing me, I always have a certain motivation to be authentic, original, because what I realized throughout the years that from my work identity and from the home person I was, that the more I try to be someone else at work or show a different kind of face at work than who I really was, the more exhausting it was. Maybe part of this brought me to study burnout syndrome. So yeah, that's really
Right,
interesting
yeah,
part of my life. And
yeah.
then I spent 7 years studying that.
Well, it's something that you can help others with, actually, because I'm sure I'm not the only one has experienced it, or you. I mean, it could be, and not just exams, it's like a job interview or a first date. And it's just really sometimes very difficult to be yourself, isn't it? In unfamiliar situations. It's a challenge.
Yeah. What I think about now is when we are ourselves, then the communication or the actions that we do or behavior coming more from the inside out rather than from the outside in. I mean by that we don't look for answers like how should I behave or what is expected from me in this situation. So it's a bit liberating to act however I feel in that moment, and honestly exposing however I am in that moment. And also like in the in the social norms still. So yes,
Yeah.
but also in a new situation, that what came to my mind, where I don't have any reference point, let's say, like I don't know anything about it, like how things go here, or like it's a new environment, a new community, or a new profession, or a new hobby that I try out. It's really no, it's really difficult to be confident and be ourselves, because I think then, or me, I just more easily and more probably reach out to how should I be here, or how should
Yeah,
I
yeah.
behave, or what are the things here. And I
And
think that, sorry, it's just last thought, that I think I have a misconception about learning the social norms in a situation, which I can learn by being me and accommodating myself to the situation, the new situation, by completely transforming or forgetting who I am and accommodate, just going under the behavioral patterns that are already there.
yeah, yeah, very. That's
Mhm.
so true, because the pattern that I realized, it was about speaking up.
Mhm.
And when I reflected on it afterwards, it went right back to when I failed my French exam, in the French oral exam, when I was 18, and I think I did it 3 times to try and pass that. But I think it brought up I felt like it brought up the fears of speaking
Yeah,
up. And actually, that's what I'm going to be basically practicing this year, is to learn to like be confident in speaking up.
yeah.
I mean, even when we did this podcast, like that's nearly a year now. It took a while to get comfortable without
You're just
looking at a
saying out my
screen.
thoughts now, saying out loud my thoughts, because the first thing I was thinking, the practice. With practice, it gets better. And our podcast is as if now, as in this really moment, how a challenge it is to just be ourselves. And but I think it works the best if we can be ourselves. Um,
Yeah, and not worrying what other people think or
yeah.
judging, or it's just being you, isn't it?
Yeah. Sometimes what we have to own is that we are so accommodated to how we should be, that we are still on that track and that we are still not off, you know?
Yeah, well, we're just finding ourselves, aren't we?
Yeah, and it's totally human. It's totally normal.
It so is, isn't it? Yeah. I know when in the avatar course, especially in resurfacing, you can really explore who you are actually, and that's really helpful.
So it's good that you mentioned about the resurfacing workshop, because I think the zero step, or the first step, is to locate where we are, or like get some reference point, like, oh, this is not me and this is closer to me. Because I think some of us, or sometimes I can be still, but since we do this consciousness work, we are, I think, more stable in who we really are. But sometimes I still can go off track and think that what I'm presenting, or who I am behaving, is me. And that's not helpful when I really want to be me.
Yeah, it is. It definitely very grounding for you, the tools and resurfacing, aren't they? To really be present,
Yeah, yeah,
present and be okay with yourself. And if you make mistakes, if you if you fail at something, it's okay. It's okay to
yeah,
be who you are. It's interesting
yeah.
that we have why it's so painful to fail, why we feel such pain when we fail something.
We just talked about with one of my students from the university, uh, behavior of success seeking and failure avoidance, because there is like psychological concepts for these two opposites.
Mm,
Success seeker kind of people, not failing to get themselves into challenges and try out themselves into things, new things, or learn, and even fail if things don't work out. But failure avoidance is usually what the literature says it's coming from, we identifying as a skill of us, or
yeah,
like as something like that we are not so, let's say, malleable people, but like that we are like fixed into like this and this, like I'm good in literature but I'm bad in math.
yeah,
And
yeah,
like these kind of labels are very fixed.
yeah,
And
yeah.
when we take it this seriously, well, that I think it's no wonder that we are
I
so
was really
disappointed.
serious then. I was like, I'm getting really serious. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's I think if the viewers and listeners what I'm learning, it's okay to be who you are. You can always become a better version of yourself. Obviously, we can, like, I'm going to be doing some more speaking this year, but it's about practice. I managed to avoid I was speaking in assembly for 7 years when I was a teenager for some
yeah,
reason, but it didn't help me in the long run about speaking up.
yeah,
I can do it in certain situations, but obviously this is another learning curve for me.
yeah. I can tell maybe a hopeful or calming story about this. There was again a psychological experiment that the students who went out to speak in front of a crowd, their shirt was they had some coffee on their shirt, and those speakers were found to be more sympathetic to the crowd because they were
Really?
showing themselves to be more humanly.
Yeah.
And also, what you said reminded me of Camila Cabello video clip Bam Bam, which is talks about her breakup, and that everything goes basically wrong since then in her life, or that's how it shows it. And the message is when you fall on your face, just fall gracefully and enjoy it too. And at the end, yeah, she just has fun with it.
Yeah, that is the answer, isn't it? To keep going, to keep working towards your goals, being who you are, and learning along the way.
Yeah, I think our child self, or who we were as a child, or what made us happy as a child, ice cream, or I was always happy when we were expecting guests. I don't know why, but I was so happy every time. So the things that made us happy when we were children, I think they are very close. They can be very close to who we really are. And also, I think who we really are comes out, strangely enough, when we don't take ourselves seriously at all.
Yeah, we stay connected with ourselves, don't we? Actually.
Yeah, we just play a little bit. We just play with life itself. We learn, we fall, we stand up again, and
I was briefly to say, I was walking the dog with my dad this morning, and he's an artist, and he said, many years he's been very critical of his own artwork. And it's like, and his artwork is brilliant. It's like, why can't you just be happy yourself with your artwork? And he says, I realize that now, and he's in his 70s now, that how critical he was. It's never good enough. And I think we all have a lot of that running through us. But when you can just say, I am enough.
Yeah.
It's more peaceful.
And also what connects here is also I have enough. Because I think when we are ourselves, then we can create a life that is more fulfilling to us, and it's not necessarily millions of money, but prosperous for us.
Prospers for prosperity. Yeah, it starts inside. The inner millions is from the inside, isn't it?
The inner millions.
The inner
Yes, and we can live the days just like happy as we say tilapi for a story that we both know.
Yeah.
A fish as a tilapia fish, which is also swimming, the happiest ones swimming against the current, and they are expressing themselves.
Yeah. We just keep going, don't we?
Yes.
Cool.
So what we just said, I think, bring us to the next topic that we in the next episode gonna discuss. We talked about it a little bit, aren't we? The prosperity, what prosperity really is.
Yeah.
And what we wanted to close with is also exercise from the resurfacing workshop that you mentioned before, and that's gonna be a really good closure to this episode because that will help us to get close to ourself, our true self.
The expected results of a personal sense of peace.
Yeah. Oh,
if I can,
nice.
I've actually got a copy here, so I can show it on the screen if you want to read it out.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. So
yeah. This is gonna be the compassion exercise. So this is done on a person with whom we would like to feel more compassion with, because right now we feel some distance or something is in the way of connecting with them. So it has 5 steps, and try to do it on the same person. And once you have the person, then step 1, With attention on the person, repeat to yourself, just like me, this person is seeking some happiness for his or her life. With attention on the person, repeat to yourself, just like me, this person is trying to avoid suffering in his or her life. With attention on the person, repeat to yourself, just like me, this person has known sadness, loneliness, and despair. With attention on the person, repeat to yourself, just like me, this person is seeking to fulfill his or her needs. And with attention on the person, repeat to yourself, just like me, this person is learning about life. Okay. It was so cozy, you holding up the page, and I hope it helped to whomever was a watcher of this video to follow along, also in reading. Oh, and thank you so much for this time with you, and I think it's time to say goodbye.
It is. Okay, thank you. Thank you for listening. And we'll see you.
Thank you, and see you in the next episode. We can't wait.
Yes, thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.